What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. What we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the FA Cup. The Wembley semifinals have been set, so we'll go through the games. We'll talk about the Premier League. It's a full Premier League schedule midweek, so we'll talk about some of the key games that's coming up. So thank you for listening on iTunes, on Spotify, and Omni Studio. And yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, man. You know how important the likes are, and you know how much I hate asking for likes. So, but we appreciate everybody who does like and comment. So please keep that up. We got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England. It's in the middle of the night over there. And he's always down. And Southampton fan, got his shirts in the back. What up, Lee?
Hey, it's yeah. I mean, I think this is Southampton's biggest unbeaten streak of the season. You know, the past 2 weekends we've not lost. I mean, we haven't played. we've had the international break and we've had an FA Cup weekend. So yeah, these are my kind of weekends.
Yeah, Southampton fans, Leicester City fans, and who else is down there? Like the international break is their jam, you know? It's like you're on a 2-week non-losing streak. So for sure. And I can't say United ain't feeling that way too, the way we've been playing. So yeah.
So say we're playing Leicester in a few weeks. I didn't even plan this like this, but in my diary, I have a show in Leicester that night, and the game's at like 3 p.m. So I need to try and get a ticket to that one because that might be the only chance we have of winning a game this season between now and the end of the season. And I'm not even confident we'll do that. So I might have to go and seeing as I'll be in town anyway.
Yeah, if you went to see them go, you went to Anfield to see them play Liverpool, you deserve getting a ticket to see them possibly beat Leicester because they have no chance against Liverpool and you win. And that could have been embarrassing. So yeah. And this might be the only win in Southampton's Premier League history for a while because they're going down. So who knows when they'll come back up. But if you get that 100 million for Dibbling, you might spend it right. You'd be ballers down there in the championship.
You got to find someone to pay it first.
Yeah, you do. Because I hope United don't pay that. So let's go into
you're the reason we can name that sort of price because we saw what you paid for Anthony. we're like if Anthony's worth that, then we can charge 100 mil for this kid.
In Anthony's defense, he's worth that in pesos in the La Liga. You know what I'm saying? He's doing 100 mil of whatever Spanish money is right now.
It's a smart move getting him on loan out there.
Yeah,
get that value back up.
Yeah, get the value back up. I heard we can get like 40 mil for him now. After paying 90. We'll take it. We'd have never dreamed that Anthony would go out there and do what he's doing out there. Good. Him and Isco is hooking up. I always liked Isco when he's at Real Madrid. And now, he's helping us out with Anthony, bringing him along, showing him the ropes, and bringing his value up. So let's see. Let's go. We'll talk about the games in the FA Cup first, and then we'll talk some La Liga and some other stuff. Then we'll talk about the key games in the Premier League coming up. I feel like the biggest game of the weekend for the FA Cup was Bournemouth versus Man City, and I watched that game. I don't. That Bournemouth field, like, what's the size of Bournemouth field? Is it just? Can you have different size Premier League pitches, and there's just one size you can't go below? Because that's where Bournemouth, I feel, their pitch. Is it the stadium because the stadium is small, the pitch looks small, or is it like?
I think so. It's definitely the smallest stadium in the league. It's like holds like 15,000.
The guy said today was 11 because I watched it today. But you could look it up to make sure. But it's like it
Yeah,
just looked extra small. You
yeah,
know?
it's definitely small. But there's like minimum and maximum parameters because the pitches don't have to be one size.
Mhm.
Oh no, shit, yeah, it's like 11,307. But yeah, there's different parameters you can have a pitch within. I'm going to see if there's like a list of um,
Like even the first time they were up, I was like, this is a small pitch. Like you, that's why Bournemouth is so good on the, because they play in tight spaces. Like,
yeah.
they have to, their players got to be good on the ball. Like if you get put in a performance at Bournemouth, you should have space everywhere else you play. And yeah, they took it to Man City because Bournemouth feels like they've been in better form than City just for the year, even though it's not true. It's just Man City has fallen below their expectations, and but to drive that narrative of Man City having a terrible season, uh, Haaland got a penalty, and I felt bad for the American player Tyler Adams, who gave that penalty up. There's nothing he could do. That ball hit his hand. It's like, bro, like there's nothing I could do. The ball just came at me, hit my hand. I'm in the penalty box. We give this up. But ex Chelsea goalkeeper or on loan goalkeeper saves Haaland's penalty, and Haaland's like, not only is Man City is having a bad season, I'm having a bad season. I'm a part of this voodoo or whatever is going on, this run of bad luck, the the pain for the sins of those the money scandal at the club is showing up on the pitch. And then Haaland had another header, and then before that too, and then there was another sure goal. Like Tyler Adams made another mistake. The ball bounced off his foot. It looked like he was playing for Man City. Lobbed the ball over his defense's head, dropped it right on the foot of Haaland, and Haaland couldn't take the pressure of Kepa and put that one over the net too. And so it 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 looked like it was going to be one of those Man City games where they end up losing, especially when Bournemouth did score and go ahead. But I'm trying to see if they went in at the half, 1-0. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
they did.
And then they brought in that kid. He's from the academy, Nico. Man City brought in the kid from the academy,
Yeah, Nico Riley.
Nico Riley. And what is he, a left back?
Yeah.
Who did he replace? Guardiola?
No,
Because why would
I
they
think
take
we're
out Guardiola?
still on. Let me have a
Because
look.
Nunez stayed out there. Mateus Nunez stayed out there, who is always suspect in defense, especially as a right or a left back. But he was still on the pitch.
He came on for Kusanov, the Uzbeki guy.
Oh, okay. So he comes on for Kusanov. I think he goes into left back, and he gets at it right away. Like young, hungry academy player, tall, lanky, just out there, just doing his thing, puts in a ball. Haaland just, and that wasn't an easy finish either. But Haaland puts the ball in the back of the net, ties the game 1-1. Then he kind of gets hurt. So then they sub him out for Mamouche. And as soon as, this is how fast Mamouche is. As soon as he comes in the pitch, he scores. Green goes 2-1. And then, Man City kind of handles it. One thing that the commentator said while I was watching the game out here that I did notice is that it some teams play five at the back because it was all old guys. Man City played five in the midfield and crowded that shit up. And so that the old guys didn't have to work as hard. Or it seemed like they would, especially in the first half, even though they went down one, they would stick it in the tackles. Again, Foden didn't do anything. And I'm gonna say that on a regular basis to remind people who think Foden should start for England that I'm gonna start. This is an agenda thing, and this is for England. I want to mention every time Foden plays a bad game, so that when the England team is being picked, and it is suggested that Foden does not start, that people don't be like, oh, what do you mean Foden? It's Foden. Like I want you to know how bad his performances are. You know what I mean? And it's not that I want Foden to play for England, but I don't want that situation with the Gerard Lampard thing created, which now we have at the 10 position with Foden and Jude and Cole. Like we need one of them out of there. This is for the best for England, for everybody to not think that Foden should start. And what's wrong with having players come off the bench? Why is England so obsessed with starting? And then if somebody doesn't start, they don't care if the person was injured or they played the game before. They use the term he was dropped. And journalists just use that term with impunity. They just say it, even if they know there's a specific reason why a player is not in the starting lineup that day, and then he was dropped. It's like what is this a negative England journalistic trait? Like what is that?
Yeah, I mean they're sensationalists. They love making drama. They love everything to be a big thing. Um, there's no rationality there, and the thing is, like that position as well is so competitive right now for England. Like there's so many players who can play that role, and there are players who weren't even in the squad last time because of like injuries or whatever. Like Cole Palmer wasn't even there. You know, Eze came off the bench and got like an assist and a goal. Was it an assist and a goal? Or he at least got the
Definitely a goal.
goal. He definitely got the goal. So and like he's on fire for Palace at the moment. So it's like there's nobody's nobody's really guaranteed a spot in that lineup. I feel apart from Kane. Like Kane's got the number 9 locked down.
But the entire English media has given Foden the 10. Like that's their, you could tell that's their unanimous favorite, you know?
Yeah,
And they don't care that we had this issue before and England lost World Cup chances and Euro chances when we played Lampard and Gerard, when it should have been Carrick and Gerard or Carrick and Lampard. And one of them, like, if you take a strong player like that off the bench to replace other in a hot summer game, you know what the advantage you would have as a country? You know, like it's and just, but it's so negative to not start that you have to start both of them in England and to the detriment of the team flow. And we need this shit to stop. Any thoughts on this match, this contest, or
yeah. I
footy?
mean, it was like a it was the old cliche of like a game of two halves. Like Bournemouth they got in City's faces early on. They were doing what Bournemouth do. They press. They don't give anyone time on the ball, and they were forcing mistakes out of City. But I kind of feel like City threatened them with what they could do. Like the penalty was like a warning shot. They got away with that Bournemouth, and then like Haaland had a couple of big chances after that as well in like open play and didn't take them. So it's kind of like a warning sign to Bournemouth. It's like, right, you're 1-0 up, but City aren't dead here. They're like they've got the firepower to come back into this. And I don't think any of us thought that firepower was going to be Nico Riley. Um, Nico Riley coming off the bench at left back, but I mean, he was bombing up and down, and that got that assist for Haaland, and then got the next one for Mamouche as well, and just City looked comfortable in that second half. They didn't really like have any bother from Bournemouth that second half. They just they upped their game, and they looked like the old City almost, not quite, but almost. Um, and Haaland's injured now as well. He left the stadium in like a boot. Um, so he's potentially out, but it means they can just start Mamouche now, and that's not a bad thing the way he's playing. Um, he's a kind of different threat to Haaland. He's got quicker feet, I feel, like around the box. He can sort of be in those tight spaces, and he has to sort of rely on the quickness of his first touch. And that rather than the brute force that Haaland's got sometimes. But yeah, I mean, City are at home to Leicester next, so I'm probably going to put Mamouche in my fantasy team for that one.
Oh yeah, you can get him cheap probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in Mamouche. From the first game that I saw him play for City, I was like, oh, this guy, excuse me, he's gonna be all right. And
Yeah.
Nico Riley, while you were talking, I was looking him up. Dude's on 20 years old, and Google doesn't even have a picture on it for him. Like in the team setup, like when you're scrolling. To be honest, Mamouche ain't in there, and Kosanov ain't in there. But O'Reilly, who's there's definitely not everybody else is in there, except for some reason. Oh, McAtee, who's another young kid that came
Yeah.
on,
McAtee's decent.
22 years old. Yeah, McAtee. Yeah. So City has a bright future, you know.
He's from Manchester as well, O'Reilly.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's English. Yeah,
So he's like a local kid too.
yeah. England's just all of a sudden had no left backs in the last was it Euros, and now these young left backs are coming out of nowhere. Uh, Lewis Skelly, Jed Spence could be one, and now this kid, like it's just one game that I've seen. I'm sure he's played more that I haven't seen, but this was an impressive performance in a playing in that box at Bournemouth with no space by the beach. It's pretty impressive.
I did look as well at the pitch. They got the 5th joint largest pitch in the league.
No, that's
It's the same.
impossible.
It's the same size as Old Trafford.
How?
Same size as the Emirates.
How does it? Is it just me, or does it look small to you too?
It's camera trickery because the camera's got to be closer to the field from where it is at like the Emirates or Old Trafford because like it hasn't got that far to go back. It's an 11,000 seat stadium. It's yeah, I think it's all in the angle and the height of the camera.
Oh, because man, it feels like a toy stadium.
I think it's the way Bournemouth play as well. Like they're in people's faces, and it kind of feels like there's no space because they're just pressing, and sort of shutting teams down.
So they have the 5th largest pitch.
Yeah, joint 5th. It's the same size as a bunch of others. Like I say, it's same size as Old Trafford, same size as the Emirates, same size as the Etihad, same size as the G-Tech.
They have the same fan size as the Etihad. I give them that.
Yeah, same size as Villa Park. The only two, or the only ones that are bigger are like the City Ground at Forest is apparently the biggest, and Goodison's apparently the second biggest. So,
and Goodison won't even be here in a year.
Yeah,
that's
a joint 3rd largest actually. St James's Park is the same size as Bournemouth. Tottenham's the same size as Bournemouth.
That's shocking. I could have sworn like,
yeah, Wolves as well. Anfield's one of the smallest.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Stamford Bridge is smaller as well. Luton's was one of the smallest when they were in the league. Palace is one of the smallest. The official smallest though is Fulham.
Fulham?
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me. Like, I guess camera angles are everything. They must be using a skinny lens on that pitch. Because I thought that shit was smaller. Let's go to Bournemouth. Not Bournemouth. We did Bournemouth. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I tried to watch it. And that's not to say either team is bad, but like it was kind of there were long periods of just them just cancelling each other out in that game. And Forest started a bit pragmatic as well. Like they left Hudson-Odoi and Elanga on the bench to begin with, and then they threw him in later on. And yeah, I mean the game.
Why do you think they did that? Was that to like save them for the league?
Yeah, rest them for you guys. They're coming for you. They know that United defense is there to get ran at. So
oh, we know too. No surprise. I just want to see if you confirm my suspicions.
Yeah, I think they're protecting them for you guys. But I mean, yeah, there's some big moments in that game. Like Sells, the Forest goalkeeper, the big save he pulled off from the
Yeah.
header in extra time. Like that was such a good save. Like to get the top hand out and put it over the bar. And he was really impressive in the shootout as well. Like one of them he saved where he just he out pokered the penalty taker. Like one guy tried to smash it down the middle and he stayed firm and mate, he must have known, like he must have done his homework
I
or
feel
something.
like if
Because
most goalkeepers stay in the middle, you'll save 2 penalties out of 5.
yeah,
I honestly feel that.
yeah, but it wasn't even like a Panenka either. Like the guy tried to smash it down the middle and he just stood firm and blocked it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he did really well there. Yeah, really, really good goalkeeper. I think he's been one of the best in the league this season, like in terms of clean sheets and just when you watch him play as well, like he passes the eye test as well. It's like it's not just the defense bailing him out. It's like, oh no, he's earning those clean sheets as well. Like he's pulling off some big saves.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was one of the main reasons they went through, I think. Yeah, just Forest are doing well. Whatever they try and do this season, it feels like they're up there fighting for a Champions League space, and now they're in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley as well. It's a good time to be a Forest fan if you're one of them.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So off the game a little bit, say Nuno does complete the season in the Champions League spot and he goes to a FA Cup final. And Slot holds on to win the Premier League. Who do you think should win Coach of the Year?
Nuno.
Nuno?
Yeah, all day long because like they've got like it. Liverpool winning the league, I think, is exceeding expectations because I don't think anyone expected that from Slot when he took over from Klopp.
Mm-hmm.
But the squad is good, whereas like Nuno, no one, even in their right minds, would have called that at the start of the season, them finishing in the Champions League spaces. So if he does that and wins an FA Cup, like for me, there's no question that's like the biggest achievement of the season for sure. Like not to say take anything away, Liverpool have been like ruthlessly efficient and way better than I thought they were going to be this season. But I think Nuno getting Forest into the top 4, and if he wins a trophy as well, that would just put him clear. Not by much, because I still think it's a big job Slot's done there to come in after a legacy manager has sort of left a real imprint on a club to come in and usually, I thought he was going to be the Liverpool Moyes when when Moyes came in after
Damn,
Ferguson.
you disrespectful, fam. That's some disrespectful shit.
I thought he was just going to be a patsy, to be honest.
The Lee Harvey Oswald of coaches, like the man to follow Slot.
But I mean, I can't see them messing up from where they are now. So yeah, him winning the league is pretty big as well.
If Slot wins the league, I think he should win Coach of the Year. And if you're watching, and yes, this is a guy in a Manchester United jersey saying that. This is not like somebody didn't AI that in my mouth. I just feel like winning the league is so hard. Arteta has proven it in 3 seasons of being good and not being able to win it, And I also think there's this thing where people think Liverpool is winning the league easy, but there's this calm, cool, confident composure that Liverpool has exhibited throughout the season. So we're at this point where it looks like they're going to win the league easy. But if you look at each individual game and how much it takes to win and not lose those games and stay ahead of the teams that were chasing them till this point, and it's just so much in there. And I just think it's hard to ignore that. But if Nuno won, I wouldn't be mad at that either. I get it. It's Forest. And they almost got relegated last season. They lost points. They had points deducted. So I get it. I would be mad either way. But I'd give it to Slot. I feel like Slot winning is pretty much just as almost as improbable as what Nuno is doing. But if Slot wins, then I think he should get it. But hats off to Nuno. Hats off to them both. Yeah. This game, I was watching it in a Starbucks in Miami, in South Beach, because the hotel Wi-Fi wasn't working in the room for some reason. It let me log on to it, but wouldn't log on to it. So I was just watching it, and I was entertained, man. There's a lot of back and forth. I feel like Brighton started the game hotter, and then Forest came out of the defensive shell. And for the most of the game, up until extra time, that's when Brighton like turned the game on its heels and really tried to go hard to win. They should have. They're playing at home. They should have tried harder in the entire game to win this game. And the thing that Nottingham Forest, I asked you about, like, why did they have Elanga, and who was on the bench? Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah,
and it's like these games. And I was talking to Lloyd about this. I said, Villa's going to play Preston, and I know you have games coming up on a Wednesday, and this is before the game. I said, if you could message your coach, tell him to start his starters. Try to win the game, because when you play your second string and rest players, and especially if we go back to Brighton Forest, like you're resting your players against Brighton at Brighton. Like that's very dangerous. You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna end up in this situation that exactly happened. You're gonna go to overtime, play overtime, and go to penalties. Nobody got rested. Nobody got rested. So if you almost won this game with your second string, you could have just won it in regular time with your first string. Now you played half hour extra. You had the stress of penalties added to you, and you still have a midweek game. Like I feel like you get rest for your players when you win the game. Play your best team and win the game early. And a lot of teams annoyingly do it the reverse way. But hats off to Forest. You're in the semis. You're going to Wembley, and this could be just a great season of teams like Villa, who beat Preston, and who are also in the semis. Like these teams have chances. Like Man City's not this lock in. Like Crystal Palace could win it. This ain't the Man City from last season where it's just like you go to the game to play them, but you ain't gonna win. This is everybody's like, oh, we could even the dumbest person on the bench could see the holes in Man City's team. And this is teams of all the teams that's there, none of these teams has ever wanted to play Man City more. That's the situation Man City's in. Like teams like, yo, let's get a piece of that city. What up, City? Pull up. We'll play you. So yeah. What did you think of any of the other games in this?
I mean, I kind of just going back to like the final four.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it, I did want Bournemouth to beat City just so it'd be like a different team winning this trophy. Mm-hmm. But I do agree that City, they're not the ruthless machine that they once were. Mm-hmm. I think you'd still make them favourites probably out of that final group, just on the value of their squad and the experience they've got of being in these positions as well. Like I think that counts for a lot when it comes into like those big semi-finals at Wembley. Mm-hmm. It's like City have been there and done it. And, even though they've not always won, like obviously like losing to you guys at Wembley in the final, I'll give you a little moment.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Soon as I'm quick to get a dig in now and again, I'll
same here. I appreciate it.
But it's like, even the players that have been there in that situation and lost, it's still experience. Mm-hmm. Like still, they know how it feels to walk out at Wembley in a FA Cup final. So semi-finals aren't going to phase them. But there are still some people on that team who haven't, like Nico O'Reilly as well. So I don't think he was in that
He
final.
doesn't even
If
have a
I
team picture. So he's definitely that's how inexperienced he is.
um, but that said, like you look at like Villa this season, and like none of their players have been overawed by Champions League football. You know, they got a double header against PSG coming up, so you know their players are getting that big game experience, and yeah, and then Forest and Palace don't seem to be afraid of anyone. So yeah, they should be really good semi-final games. So it's Forest City, isn't it, and Villa Palace. Um,
I forgot to look because they did the draw right after the thing, right? So it's Forest
yeah,
City.
yeah, Villa Palace.
I feel like City could Forest can beat City the way
Yeah,
City play.
yeah, they done it. They done it in the league.
Yeah, and they did it in the league, and it's like the City's gonna be City, and like even the stats in this game against Bournemouth at Bournemouth, City had 64% of the ball. They had 516 passes to 290. So, Forrest was like, yeah, go ahead, do that, have it,
Mm,
enjoy the ball. You know,
yeah,
thanks for playing how we love you to play. So,
I don't think they'll be resting Hudson-Odoi and Elanga in that game.
but yeah, that's a great chance. Like the formula of the way Man City plays fits right into the way that Forest win most of the games. So that's
Yeah,
great.
for sure. And yeah, in the other games, like I mean, seeing Adam Wharton playing for Palace just made me more angry that Henderson was in the England squad as well. Because I'm like, this guy is the future in that position. Play him, give him minutes in the senior team, play him alongside Rice. Um, because yeah, the guy can ball.
He got some time. He got some time. He's got time to get in there.
Yeah, yeah, he's still like 20, 21 or whatever. So um, he has got that time. But yeah, he's a great player, and just yeah, Palace put it on Fulham a little bit in that one. Um, and I'm worried because we got Palace midweek.
You should be worried. They play our system pretty
I
well, the
mean,
3-4-3.
yeah, I'm worried about everyone at the moment, to be honest. So that's not necessarily a Palace thing, but yeah, like he carried on that form from his England cameo off the bench and took it straight into this game. And Sarr, and they have Mateta back as well,
Yeah.
um, with his protective gear on. So just yeah, I mean that
Looking
Palace
even
team
more like a
just
beast.
yeah, that Palace team just looks balanced as well. Like there's players as well that don't get like that much credit in that system who just play it well. Like Jefferson Lerma, just he's busy in that midfield alongside Wharton. And yeah, SARS, like, you know, he doesn't quite get the headlines like Eze or Mateta does, but he's been doing a job. Like, he got his goal. Munoz as well. I
Yeah.
think, like, I mean, if you're looking at players that can play that system, on
Big
that right
fan.
side,
Big fan.
he might be one worth going after. And then like Lacroix at the back as well. Like, you know, Gay's the one who gets all the transfer rumors and everything, but yeah, Lacroix's been solid at the back as well for them. So yeah, they're just a very well coached team, and you know they fit into the system well. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to our midweek game against them at all.
Do you want to talk about that game a little bit since we're on that topic?
I mean, I'm just hoping that having like 2 weeks on the training ground means that we can come up with something unexpected. That's all I'm hoping is that the rest has done us good, and that the players are fresh, and that you know the thing that people have said about our manager, because he's done a good job in other countries, like when he's been in Italy, he's done a good job. But they said that he's got such a real specific way of playing, like the pressing like system that he uses. People said like he needs a preseason. He's not like almost like what like this like you've heard all this with Amarim as well.
Right.
They're saying like, oh, you know, it's very specific the way he does things. He needs a preseason. It's harsh to judge him. I'm like, well, our board knew that and they brought him in mid-season. So um, but I don't know if maybe yeah, having the extra time on the training ground means the players might be more to grips with his method, because I've seen in flashes like there's something there, like the first half against Liverpool at Anfield, like like we're not a complete disaster
Mm-hmm.
all the time. We're a disaster 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we are where we are. So yeah, I'm just interested to see if maybe we've made some improvements on the training ground, but I can't see it though. Like if gun to the head, if someone said, "Well, who's winning this game?" I'll be saying Palace every time.
I'd say Palace too, but I feel like you got a chance. I feel like Palace doesn't blow teams away, and they don't always score. They haven't been losing lately, so they've been solid defensively. So you guys just like, what's the best part of your game besides losing or not getting points? Like, what is your strong point?
I'm not even sure, to be honest. um, we're trying to press in some games, but that just hasn't gone well. So,
How about playing
and I
out the
don't.
back? You're good. You're nice at playing out the back.
No, I mean we were okay at it when Russell Martin was manager, but we would just make too many mistakes
Yeah.
um, when the real pressure was on. But I mean, Palace, I think, will want us to have the ball. They're a team that likes to get it off you in the midfield and then attack quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we'll see. It might be. I mean, if they want us to have the ball so they can counter us, and we want them to have the ball so we can press them, it might just be a Mexican standoff, like two teams just
But
two
how about
teams just
just
don't.
being good in possession? How about just being good in possession? You can
I mean,
you can get past their counter press.
that's easier said than done. I mean,
All right,
I think
true.
I think just looking at the stats, like when Palace beat Fulham at the weekend 3-0 with 29% possession.
Yeah, they played defensively. I think they
Yeah.
were at Fulham and they just countered and they let Fulham have the ball. And Fulham didn't have any cutting edge.
Mm.
You know, Fulham had a lot of like, what's his name? What's his name? What's their leading scorer?
Jimenez,
Jimenez gave it all in the in the gold in the, is that was that the Gold Cup or the Concacaf? You know,
the CONCACAF Nations League.
Concacaf Nations League. He left all the goals
Yeah.
in America. I don't even know if he played in this game. Let's see. Can't remember. Go back. So they they played it. They played it right. And Eze picked his moments and did his thing and took him apart. I'm gonna turn on this light and then I'll come back and talk about Man United versus Forest since we're on the topics. Every time I set up the podcast, once I think I'm done and start the podcast, I always remember that there's one more thing left to do. Like shit. So I'm gonna go back to the Prem, and we got these Tuesday games. I do want to talk about Fulham versus Arsenal a little bit. Definitely talk about Forest versus Man United. I don't know how we're gonna play Forest. We know Forest like to counterattack and let the other team have the ball. We're not that great with the ball, but I'm counting on some of the same things that you are counting on, like the weeks of practice and like you already mentioned, the Amarin system and learning it. We got to get better at pressing. There are some great signs from some players before the international break, and I've been seeing a lot of Xerxes compilations. I didn't even know that Xerxes was a Bayern player.
Yeah,
You know,
he was in the academy there, even though he's Dutch. He was in
yeah,
the Bayern academy.
and he scored for adult Bayern before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his first game for Bayern in the first team, his first touch was a goal, and and then he just went on a series of loans and ended up in lease. But this kid, man, you brought up Anthony earlier, and it feels like we got ripped off, you know, and now he's redeeming himself and maybe saving us some of that fee that we paid for him by playing the way he's playing in La Liga. But this Xerxes, man, I just see him growing, and he's showing way more potential than I could ever imagine. Like his size, the strength that he's gaining, and his touches are, if he keeps going along this trajectory, will be some world class shit. Like even the highlights of Xerxes that, when we buy a player, there's a package you can find of this guy online. Like nothing in that package suggested some of the shit that I've seen him do after his terrible start for us. Like the stuff that he's done after his terrible start from us, it just shows. Remember when I used to go crazy about Eze and say, "Have you seen Eze shit do the shit that he did in the championship?" It's like as Xerxes been doing that in the last, let's say, 7 to 10 games,
Yeah.
and it's pretty, man. Like I can't, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm looking forward to him doing that with an Ahmad, with a Mount, with a Ugarte that's learning more of the game, with whoever replaces Ericsson when Ericsson's contract is up this year, or this season. And so like any United fan, like we're looking more forward to United next year. We like what Dogru's doing. He's going to be available. Yeah. And he's the one that kind of knows the system, like straight off the bat, and is kind of like leading the other players by how he plays on the system on the pitch. Like he shows you how essential having a wing back that knows the system is. So I like what he's doing. So we're getting some players back, and we've had time to train, and we'll see. Like there's been no Mainu. I don't know if he's coming back soon. Hopefully he is. I don't even want to mention Luke Shaw because as soon as he comes back, he goes back out. So don't want to jinx that. But I give us a fighting chance, especially based on the last few games that we played against other teams. I give us a fighting chance to get something out of this game. Like I see where we've been growing, and I hope the training has sharpened us up and that we could get something out of this game versus Forest. At least a draw. I'll take a draw. So that's my hopes, and that's where I see us. I'm optimistic. A lot of people ain't hyped to see Man United play, but there are players that are like turning me on and be like getting me excited about them.
You at home?
Nah, we're going to them.
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be rough.
I should have laughed more when you said you get a draw then.
Yeah, you should have. You blew it. You blew it. Timing is everything, bro. At least you got Crystal Palace at home. But the way you described Crystal Palace at home, I thought you were on the road to Crystal Palace.
Home or away doesn't. Every game's a road game for us at the moment.
Yeah. I want to talk about Fulham Arsenal. All I got to say about Fulham Arsenal is, for some reason, the last few seasons, when Arsenal needed to win and thought they could just go and beat Fulham, Fulham has been their bogey team. Not exactly even beating them, but just making them drop points. And I feel like Fulham will probably do this here again. I heard Saka's healthy, so I don't know if he's going to start. He's going to come back. I don't know what condition of a starter, or even just if he comes on as a sub, he's going to be in. But we'll see. But I would love to see Arsenal drop some points here, just to hear the frustration from the Arsenal fans. Any thoughts on that game, or what's a game that's highlighted this?
I think Arsenal win that fairly comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see them doing it. It might just be because I'm blinded by the Palace win against them on the weekend. But yeah, looking at these, I mean, there's some those are good games like
Liverpool,
like
Everton, and Chelsea.
Liverpool,
Tottenham. Well, we'll get to that.
Liverpool Everton's going to be going to be big for sure. Just obviously it's a derby, plus you got the added implication of Liverpool just trying to march on to get a step closer to the title as well. Brighton Villa will be a good game as well.
Yeah, that's a big one because they're fighting for that 4th or 5th spot. So they're definitely going to be on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's Chelsea Spurs on Thursday.
What do you think about that one?
I mean, I can see that being another nail in Ange's coffin. Because, yeah, I mean, he must have been so glad for this international break just so he could get the heat off him for a little bit. Because, yeah, I mean, Spurs have been Spursy, haven't they? It's, I mean, Chelsea aren't exactly the most consistent of teams. But I think at home, yeah, they should be winning that game. Because just the way Spurs have been this season. But you never know. Like, Spurs have got good individual players as well. Like, if some of them show up, I think it's a hard game to predict that one. But I mean, like I say, Spurs are Spursy. So if I had to put money on it, I'll be betting on Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea will lose this game. So
yeah,
they'd have to do a lot of things wrong to lose this game because Ange is gone. Like his last few press conferences, the only reason why Ange still has a job is, it sounded like you should not say that thing that he said about I always win a trophy in my second season. But the only reason why he hasn't lost his job by now is because he said that. Because he's still in the Europa League and people like, well, maybe this is the trophy he's going to win in his second season. So why fire him now? Because he actually might pull that off. So I don't think he's going to win the Europa League either. But it's the Europa League that's kept his job. But he's been terrible in the league. And now you got to go play Chelsea. And even when Andrews got he's first, he was saying injuries. And I know he got some players back and they're not fully up to Premier League fit, but it don't look better. You know what I mean? It doesn't look better. So I don't know if Cole Palmer has recovered. I don't know where Nate Jackson's fitness situation is. And I feel like Chelsea, you can't count on them either. So they shouldn't lose this, but they could win it. And I don't think Tottenham could win this. I just think Ange is gone. Like Ange might feel like he's out of his depth right now. Like it's a sad look in those press conferences for him. And how could you? That's not the right energy to bring into a coaching, into a dressing room to tell people what to do. I think his energy is low. So the most Tottenham can get is a point. The only team that in this one I can get the points at the 3 is Chelsea. And Liverpool, Everton, just going back to that. This is important because I don't think Liverpool has the league locked up yet. And now they're playing Everton, and it's a derby, and we know all the rules go out the book when it's a derby. And Everton, they'll try to spoil this, and they're going to try to damn this. And some of their players have found form. Like, is it Beto? What's his name? Yeah, Beto has found form. They're scoring goals. It's Moyes. He's got that, he has that Everton repertoire that he remembers battling Liverpool from when he was the coach before, and he can bring that energy to this team so that they can step up to this Liverpool team that's at the top of the league. And Liverpool might feel, that they have to win this. And if that rattles them a little bit, and they have some injuries too in their right back position, I don't know if Trent is healthy or his backup is healthy. So I don't know who they're going to play there. Maybe Kwanzaa. He's not that good. I thought he's going to be a better defensive player, but I don't think he's that good. So I just think if Liverpool lose this or drop points, and especially if Arsenal wins versus Fulham, which I think they're gonna drop points versus Fulham, it could create that race at the top of the table again. Like all you need is belief to make this race exciting again, even if it's false belief, just some belief that Arsenal can get their way back into this. So it's a if Everton come up there and say Arsenal win, and then Everton come up there and start putting some doubts into Liverpool and make them drop points. These two games this week could like re-energize the title race in Arsenal's favor. It doesn't mean they're going to win it, but they got Saka back, and they play way better with Saka than without Saka. So we'll see.
You're desperate for a title race.
I don't really care. I don't really care. You know, I'll take a little bit of excitement for free. I ain't got no horse in the race. But
I'm with you.
Something just tells me Liverpool don't got this yet. I'm not saying they won't have it. So they don't have it eventually. Something just tells me they don't. It's just not that easy. It's just not that easy. And we can't discount these 9 games that's left, or 8. There's 8 games left, right? Or 9? 9. So you watch any La Liga this weekend?
I did. I sat down and watched
either you froze or I froze.
I'm back. I'm here. I can hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, either you froze or I froze.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you froze on my screen. Did I freeze on your screen?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
No, I heard you. I heard the Liga question. I watched Real Madrid versus Leganés on Saturday night, and I had some money on Real Madrid, and they made me sweat. They made me sweat in that game because they were not sure that they wanted to win that game to begin with. And the crazy thing is, like, if they won, they went top of the league until Barca played the next day. But like, I was just, I mean, I was more nervous than the Real Madrid players were, I think, because it was that game. Like, Real Madrid scored. Mbappe scored a penalty, and then Leganés scored like a minute later. They went straight down the other end, and the defending was so bad from Madrid. Like, they were just like, every time they lost the ball, they just kind of watched and walked, and were just like, yeah, just in the penalty area. The defenders just minding their own business. Like, I'm not going to go and close someone down or get close to anyone. And then they went 2-1 up, Leganés, like a few minutes after that, which is crazy. They went at halftime 2-1 up at the Bernabeu. The fans weren't happy. But then Real Madrid came out second half, and Bellingham scored like instantly in the second half. A ball came bouncing off the bar in like a goalmouth scramble, and then he was there to sort of tackle it in almost. And that made me rest a little bit easier.
English like, style, okay. Old English style. Let me score an English goal in this La Liga.
That was it. And then I'm like, okay, like I'm a little bit more calm now. We got a whole half here, and then Real Madrid threw Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo in off the bench. And I'm like, if you can bring these guys in, like
the 2 losers from versus Argentina with no Messi, they got drubbed.
I'm like, but you know, this is Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Like, you throwing those 2 on, they're going to do something. But it wasn't them. It was Mbappe. He stepped up with he made me wait a little bit for it. But he stepped up with a free kick goal that I can't remember who it was he touched it to, and they sort of put their foot on it, and then he's lashed it in the bottom corner. So really good finish. And yeah, I thought my money was going to be safer than that, though. They put me through it.
Well, I'm glad we won. I'm just glad we won. You know?
Yeah.
I'll ask you how much we won after, and send you my Send you my Zelle. It's my phone number, by the way.
Then the next day, though, I took the money because I'd won some money earlier on in the day at some non-league football, some lower league, real lower league stuff. I was at a lower league game on Saturday during the day. I'm going to post a video from that as well at some point this week. But I put some money on the game, then I went and watched the game. So like I was tearing my hair out in real time.
You were like at the track.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much at the track. Although that game was a bit more comfortable. The team I put money on were like 2-0 up in 10 minutes. So I was feeling a bit better there. But I took the winnings from that, put it on Real Madrid. They made me sweat, but I got some winnings. And then I put it on a double on the Sunday. I put it on Barca and Inter to both win. And they both came through. Barca made me sweat as well, though, because Barca went 1-0 up in their game. And then Girona equalised for 1-1. And then luckily Lewandowski decided to show up in the second half with a couple of goals to make it more comfortable for me.
For us.
I've got bills to pay.
Me too. So I'm glad. For us.
We haven't even got to my March Madness bracket yet.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you're winning in that.
Yeah, I've got down to the final four in that, predicted correctly.
Damn, that's crazy. Why don't they just give you all the money now? What are they waiting for?
Because other people have also got close as well, and it's going to come down to like who wins. Like I'm backing Duke.
Who's Duke's coach now? Ex-player?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Because
I feel like it's like Roy or Rob or something.
That person's taken over from a legend. That's but I wonder if he's their first coach after Krzyzewski.
Yeah. But I'm backing them. They got Cooper Flagg, who's like a generational talent.
White guy?
Yeah.
I saw some highlights and I saw two white guys in the box score. And I said, that's so Duke. Even though Mike Krzyzewski's not there, he would always find the American, European white guys that can play college ball.
Yeah, Flagg and Knuppel are both both good players. Like Flagg was training with the US national team before the Olympics as a teenager. He was just there for like the scrimmages and stuff. So he's good. But yeah, the final four are all number one seeds as well.
Oh,
so it's like Auburn, Duke, Florida, and who's the last one? Houston. The other one.
Florida's been good for a minute because they were just known for football. But like 10 years ago, right before, or maybe even longer before I stopped watching college basketball, like every game, I think they won 2. And I was like, all right, Florida's here. And now to not pay attention and hear that they're a top seed and they're in the Final Four, it's like I feel like I'm just gonna assume they've been continuing this run. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking for midweek football games to roll some of my football gambling winnings onto.
Whoa, fam. This pay out some dividends. Before you put
I got a nice pot in there though. If I put that on like a Man City and Liverpool double, maybe Liverpool to beat Everton, City to beat Leicester.
City to beat Leicester, yes.
The odds aren't great for just that though. For City just to beat Leicester, so the bookies know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I should probably cash.
Why don't bookies make it easier for us to win? What's wrong with them? Do they want us to gamble or not? This is why I don't gamble, because they make it too hard. Make it easier for us to win, and more people will gamble bookies. That's all I'm saying.
I'm looking forward to fantasy football being back this weekend as well, or this midweek, should I say? Because obviously none of that FA Cup stuff counts.
Right.
So yeah, we got a big run in now to see who gets crowned champion.
Yeah, there's 9 games, y'all. So everybody knuckle down and do their best. I was gonna say something about the La Liga. You're talking about Real Madrid. So here's a problem with Real Madrid. They're second in the league. I think they're 3 points behind Barcelona. And you could correct me. I was checking out some highlights of their game while I was away in Miami, because at least Miami soccer is big in Miami. It was at the hotel pool bar. Those games were on, so I was able to check in on them and still hang out with my friends, and not be that guy that just disappears. But Real Madrid has not acquired any legit defensive player probably since Rudiger and Alaba. And when they acquire a defensive player, they're older at the end of like their peak, but still have enough left. But now they acquired Trent, and they acquired the most offensive defensive player. Like, there's no balance in this team. So when you say they gave up that goal early, like, that's just been a pattern. And I think ultimately the best team in La Liga, like on a consistent basis, even if both teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, end up with the same amount of points, I just feel like Barcelona has been the team of La Liga. Like, they're probably, let's go to their goal difference. Let me see if I can bring up La Liga on this thing. Liga standings. So, like I thought, Barcelona's ahead by 3 points. Goal difference is 82 goals for, and Real Madrid scored 62. And goals against, Real Madrid is letting one more goal than Barcelona, but it just means that Real Madrid's games have been closer, more on the edge. Like, no wonder you felt like losing, you might lose the money and making it hard. They have not been, like, what's the name of their director again? He has not learned the sporting, the main guy from Real Madrid. He just hasn't learned from
Florentino Perez.
Yeah, he just hasn't learned about from when he gave away Makaleli and let Makaleli. You need like some defenders, bro. And I know you got Trent now, but you need like defenders who like defending. The team is off balance. Like, at least before you had that midfield of Cruz, who kept his responsibility as a 6 or an 8, and you had Casemiro, who stayed where put and guarded the back line and knew when to go forward, and you had whatchamacallit, who's still there now, Modric, but to help your back four. But you got no Carvajal now. He's just getting older. He's going to be recovering from a big injury. You have the kid Asensio, he's 18 years old. And then back there, it's like midfielders playing defense. Like, you have an offensive player playing left back, Asensio. Like, you know how long Asensio's been their left back, an offensive player, and you never like, yay, let's go get a real left back. Like, that is crazy. And it's not like they're not buying players. Like, you're like, hey, Asensio, you want to play back there again this season? It's like his 5th season, and yeah, they've won some champions. Like, I can't knock it, but you could tell this is not gonna hold. You know what I mean? So just get some defensive players, Florentino Perez. You have enough offensive players. He just keeps getting offensive players. And it's just like the team needs some balance. And that's why Barcelona probably win this season.
That's the Galactico formula, though.
It does. The first time he did it, they didn't win for a minute, and it threw off the team that they had that was winning the first time he did it. And I just watched a Del Bosque documentary on YouTube. I used to love that guy and what he did for Real Madrid, and how he used to get into it with Perez because Perez kept on adding offensive players and unbalancing the team. And then even after winning the league and after winning, he got fired after a winning season because they were getting into it, you know? Because
he got
that's not
fired after winning the Champions League, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, because they didn't agree on like he just didn't agree like on the way Homie was unbalancing the team and getting rid of Makelele and so it's like then Bosque left and won the Euros and won a World Cup. So the guy knows what he was doing. Yeah, he was a legend, and I hope nobody ever forgets that name. That guy was great coach. But Florentino Perez he got no chill. He's never seen. He's the opposite of Arteta. It's like Arteta won't buy an offensive player, but he'll buy a defender, and Florentino Perez will only buy nines and attackers. He will never get a defender. He'll just turn an offensive player into a defender. Like I feel like Jude is just going to end up being a 8 or a 6, and he's an offensive player, but they're going to have nobody to do that job. So he's going to have to do it. Valverde is a midfielder who plays right back now. Because Florentino Perez refuses to get a right back.
Yeah, and they've had like Camavinga dropping in at left back. They've had Tchouaméni dropping in at centre back.
Yeah. People they bought to play midfield are playing defense now because this guy is obvious what they need. That's
why Modric is still getting worked at his age in midfield because they're like, well, you got to play there because everyone else who can play there is playing somewhere across the back line.
Yeah, he's gonna have Mbappe playing center mid at some point. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else you want to say or promote?
I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to drop another little video from my my lower league experience at the weekend. So I'm going to pop that up at some point.
You want to say what teams you went to see the play?
It was Winchester City versus Merthyr Town, who are from Wales. So they brought like a whole bunch of they brought like bus loads of fans because they're top of the league.
In what league?
It's called the Southern League Premier South, which is like it will be the 7th division. They're about to get promoted up to the 6th.
Damn.
It was a good level though. There was a bunch of guys in that team who played through like the academy in Swansea, but didn't quite make it. So they're playing for like a local Welsh team now. So they could ball as well. Like they were popping the ball around. There was a great free kick goal as well that I caught on camera. That's in the video as well. So yeah, I'm gonna put that up. But it was a nice sunny day. I got to have because in the Premier League and like the professional leagues, you can't drink in the stands. But in the lower league you can. So I just had a pint of cider. I was right by the side of the pitch. At one point as well, I didn't capture any of it on the video, but at one point I was stood with the injured captain of the away team and also the referee's dad. I had one like either side. And I was chatting to them and that was good fun. So I had a fun day out of that game.
That's dope. The weather looked like it was good in England this weekend.
Yeah, it's a rarity. You got to get outside and make the most of it when it happens.
I like how football is England's beach. England have any beaches? Yeah, the Premier League, the lower leagues, the Championship. That's the beach. That's English people's nature. Is football. You going to the beach? Yeah. The beach starts at 3. Beach starts at 12. Yeah. All right. Thanks for being on again. And so that's where you're gonna put the video on your Instagram. Say it.
Instagram, yeah, Lee Hudson Comedy. He'll be up on there.
You should make some longer ones and put them on YouTube and see if we can get them monetized and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I might do because I've had to squeeze some of them into the one I took at the England game, the England Latvia game, because the reels are like 3 minutes max now,
Right.
and that one came in at like 2:58 or something.
Yeah, you're like snipping it down to
So
try to fit it in. Yeah, if you got the longer,
I'm pushing
yeah,
it on those.
yeah. And people like walk and talk videos, and people are just like, first I've just been watching. They're saying what type of videos, but if you're somewhere like that doing it, shit, man, who knows?
I need to try and get some decent stand-up clips as well, so people will remember that I do comedy as well.
Yeah, just always tell them, hey man, I do stand up. Come see me. Cross promote. For me, I'll be at the Greensboro Comedy Club. Yeah, excuse me, I do comedy too. I had what's my dates? Let me go to my dates. Follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic. And my dates, which I'm having trouble accessing. Here they go. I'll be at the Greensboro Comedy Club in April. And the screen is not coming up, so it's embarrassing me. April 18th and 19th in Greensboro, something, Carolina. The Comedy Zone. Yeah, the Comedy Zone in Greensboro.
Nice.
So pull up to that April 18th and April 19th. And there's more dates there, so check them out. DC Comedy Loft, May 1st and 3rd. And the Comedy Club at Ducksworth in North Carolina, June 12th and 14th. So pull up, y'all. Follow, like on Instagram. And I think I'm on this week's episode of Kill Tony. So check it out.
Nice.
All right. Thanks. All right. Thanks, fam. We'll kick it in the chat and I'll holler at you. All right. One. Take care, everybody. Peace and love. One.